All right. We're going to take a slight pause from this. My name is Sean Schwartz. I have Tourette syndrome. I also have Asperger's syndrome, and I have a very high IQ. I also have PTSD, so I get overwhelmed real easy. Pizza. That's because of long-term abuse. That means that it's abuse that's gone unchecked. That includes neglect by friends, family, and of course law enforcement. Mandated reporters. They can use the tag mentally ill to deprive me of all of my rights as a human being, and that's what I've been fighting against. What will change if I turn in my predators? Well, I'll tell you what'll change. If I'm allowed to turn in my predators appropriately, then it will already have changed. That's right. Let me roll my cigarette here. Let me tell you about the prisons. In the prisons, the guards like to bully you. They like to lie to you and intimidate you. They like to antagonize you on your way to a court date. When you try to tell on them, they come to your cell and they haze you and tase you, beat you and spray you in the face. I was able to handle the spray to the face. It was when that nastiness hit my balls that I started feeling like I was in hell. That is a very sensitive place to have their special mace. Sarah Nelson, Lincoln, Nebraska.
You didn't choose cat allergies. You didn't choose your hairline. Hot flashes.
This is KETV Newswatch 7.
Well, she was the assistant warden at one of the biggest prisons in Nebraska 1 year ago.
Now she'll spend a year behind bars at the Lancaster County Jail for having unlawful contact with an inmate.
KETV Newswatch 7's Andrew Ozak.
She was charged with sexual assault against an inmate. She pled it down. That's how we end up with predators out on the streets. She is already out on the streets by now. This is 9 months ago that was made. I had to try to turn in crimes that were committed in that prison to Sarah Nelson Torciello, a sex offender. I had to turn in sex offenses in the prison to Sarah Nelson Torciello. That's right. I was in the DEC.
He takes us in the courtroom for today's sentence.
46-year-old Sarah Torciello walks into the Lancaster County Courthouse Wednesday. She publicly apologized for her actions, asking for probation. But as District Court Judge Jody Nelson told her she was going to jail, Torciello put her head down and cried.
For her to get a year, we definitely could have seen her get more time than that. I think it's appropriate that she did get jail time.
Doug Koberneck is the Inspector General.
She should have had prison time.
He's been closely watching this case. Torciello was the former assistant warden of the Reception and Treatment Center and 18-year veteran of corrections.
Having somebody that high-ranking, they know everything that goes on in that facility, and that's very alarming.
Torciello pled guilty to having an unlawful relationship with an inmate, a convicted killer serving life for a double murder in Omaha. In exchange, prosecutors dropped 2 other charges involving sex assault. Torciello could have gotten an additional 23 years on those counts. says this is not a mistake or a single lapse in judgment, rather a concerted, intentional plan that put the safety of staff and prisoners at risk. Interim Corrections Director Diane Sabaika Ryan sent this statement, quote, "There is no excuse under any circumstances for any NDSC staff member to engage in a personal relationship with an incarcerated individual. Staff members are trained upon hire that failure to maintain professional boundaries with inmates can have profound and serious consequences."
None of them maintain professional boundaries with us. They fucking bully us and harass us and threaten us and antagonize us. Guess what I was sentenced to prison for? I wasn't. I tried to turn in Sheriff Scott DaCosta of Dual County, Nebraska, and he was able to utilize no less than 6 other jurisdictions and at least 11 other law enforcement agencies. While all these agencies tell me that they can't do anything about something in another jurisdiction, you try to turn in a dirty cop, you either have a friend or family member, or these cops are buddy-buddy, they'll help. What are most of these people that claim that they would help me and didn't follow through? What was most of their complaint? Most of them, their excuse for not helping me was that they were fucking scared shitless of the goddamn police because they pull shit like this. I had to go to a fucking sex offender, Sarah Nelson Torciello, a sex offender. She was sentenced to a year. Right now, with things as they are, she'll probably serve about 6.5 months, which is about a month less than I served. What was I in prison for? What was I convicted of? Nothing. Literally nothing. I wasn't convicted of anything. I was charged with misdemeanors for trying to turn in Scott DaCosta, Leslie Snell, registered sex offender Robert Franklin Warnick, who is Leslie Snell's friend and neighbor, and of course, former Denver officer William Barr. He was involved in the situation over at the Martindales. He engaged in illegal activities in order to try to convince me not to turn in the officers who committed crimes against me in the case of Natalie Bollinger. Just like the 911 operator did, Will did that very same thing. And I could only imagine what he told Justine in order to get her to not keep her word. The least she could have done is tell me that she wasn't going to keep her word. I was there when Justine told me to be there. And after literally waiting all day long, being patient all day long, instead of telling me that she wasn't going to help me, she wasn't going to keep her word, no, she pretended like she was still gonna. And then she ignored me the whole day. Well, not entirely ignored me. She made excuses all day why she was going to go do something for 5 minutes, and then she'd go do something, and then, of course, she gets busy. But Will had plenty of time to sit down with me and lie at me. Ben typed opinion on Derek Chauvin. Oh, you mean the guy who decided it was okay to kill George Floyd? I think he should have spent more time in prison. The officers in my situation did the same exact things as, well, Derek, as well as the officers who just watched in that situation or took an active role. With me, Sheriff Scott DaCosta was able to get multiple jurisdictions who had broken the law to prevent me from turning in Scott DaCosta. He worked together with them to make sure that I went where? To prison on false charges that they had to drop. He was just trying to cut me off from turning him in. He knew that I had a room in Sydney, next jurisdiction over. He knew that I had somebody finally who was going to help me to turn him in. So he committed felonies to cut me off from doing so by having me illegally incarcerated, literally by the officer who assisted him. Sorry, the state patrolman who assisted him in assaulting me. Now, they put down the names of many, many, many other predators. Sarah Nelson is not the only predator I had to deal with, nor was DEC the only prison that I was sent to. We're going to look up another one. Michelle Decini, Lincoln, Nebraska. They put DIS, it's DIC. More of my predators with badges have been arrested. Yeah, here's a short list. That's the name of this video. This is when I found out that one of my predators was arrested. I did the same thing when I found out that Polly Olson had gotten arrested. We'll post her up next. Whoa. I typed Michelle Decini and it popped up Lincoln Police investigate homicide 1 year ago. Homelessness in Lincoln, Nebraska. Nebraska Corrections staff members injured after disturbance at Lincoln facility. Yeah! 5 corrections workers stabbed, punched, and kicked. Inmates were intoxicated and used manufactured weapons. High and maximum security unit at RTC. RTC, Reception and Treatment Facility in Lincoln. Ben typed a second message and I didn't get to read it because he retracted the message. I highly recommend not doing that. That puts you on my untrusted list and eventually on the troll list. Don't hide your words, be true to them. What the hell is happening there? All right, we'll try it on this. Michelle Decini, Lincoln Correction Center. All right. Ex-Nebraska prison employee goes to prison for smuggling in, all right, May 19th, 2022. Ben typed, I highly doubt Sarah Nelson, an innocent woman, would ever do that. Right? All right, Ben, that right there is actually appropriate sarcasm. In this situation, yes, Ben, that is appropriate sarcasm. May 19th, 2022, Michelle Decini, 39, had worked at Lincoln Correctional Center until a year ago when an NDCS investigator interviewed her about emails that, all right, first of all, she was smuggling things in her vagina. She was also having sex with inmates. And she was charged with sex crimes. Let's see, we've got to stop it right away. Another high-ranking corrections, let's see, Michelle Decini, 38, a corporal at the Lincoln Corrections Center, LCC, was arrested by the Nebraska State Patrol. I told you it was Nebraska State Patrol's job. Also, you can listen to the calls to them where they over and over and over again lied to me and told me that it wasn't the police's job to police the police. Sarah Nelson was arrested by the state troopers. Michelle Decini, arrested by the state troopers. We're going to look up another one. This is... Oh, sorry. We're going to let... Both of these were in connection with Scott DaCosta of Dual County, by the way. We're going to look up... Sheriff of Garden County, Nebraska.
According to Nebraska Sheriff's Association, the current sheriff is Sheriff Michelle Quinn and is elected to a 4-year term. The office of the Garden County Sheriff is located in Oshkosh, Nebraska, and is responsible for managing and operating the Garden County. Garden County has a population of about 2,057 people as of the 2010 United States Census.
2,057 in the entire county. This town is bigger than Garden County. This town is bigger than Dual County. I don't mean size-wise, I mean population-wise. Michelle Quinn arrested.
Check out these pictures.
There's Michelle Quinn in her mugging, or in her mug photo. Here's Michelle Quinn in her uniform. Garden County Sheriff found guilty in misdemeanor assault case. Look at this. All these women getting misdemeanors, light sentences, slaps on the wrist. Sexual assault. It says August 13th, 2021. Garden County Sheriff Michelle Quinn has been found guilty of third-degree domestic assault. Let's see. It also shows who she was arrested by. She was arrested by the state troopers, who, they do the same thing here when they want to blow you off. They literally lie to you and tell you it's not their job. Just like the FBI will lie to you and tell you it's not their job if you don't fit what is an acceptable victim. So yeah, she was found guilty, and then they re-elected her as sheriff. The interim sheriff that they had while she was in trouble was one of her deputies who had assisted Dual County Sheriff's Department in committing felonies against me. Yeah. Oh, this is very real. We're going to look up another one here. This one's from Dual County itself. Polly Olson, Dual County Clerk. Polly Olson arrested, Dual County. Longtime county clerk arrested, accused of charging. All right, this is one of the people who committed felonies against me as well. Dual County Clerk Polly Olson, 59, was arrested Tuesday after an investigation by the Nebraska State Patrol. Again, this is, what, 4? 4 of them, that I had to deal with in connection with crimes committed by Dual County Sheriff Scott DaCosta to cover his own bacon. And the Nebraska State Patrol kept sending me to Scott DaCosta to turn in Scott DaCosta. I was sent to the DA's office. I was sent to the State Patrol. I was sent to the Attorney General's office, the Ombudsman. I have been through this whole goddamn thing that I'm going through in Tillamook. I've gone through it in Nebraska. I've gone through it in Colorado. I told on all these people for crimes they committed against me. They worked together to harm me, stalk me, harass me, along with their friends and families, and tried to bully me into moving illegally and immorally, and they abused their power to have me incarcerated for trying to turn them in, including lying to mental health workers and hospitals, and illegal seizure of the evidence against them. Someone calling themselves Ragnarok Ouroboros typed, "Could you summarize your story?" I recognize your name because you've been on here before, Ragnarok. I've been summarizing it the best I can since I got started on this shit. Dual County Clerk arrested following NSP investigation. Polly Olson, June 15th, 2022. Dave Schroeder, a 6-month Nebraska State Patrol investigation into purchases at the Dual County Clerk's office. God, she's got to love this picture of her. That's Polly Olson. She's been in my stories since 2016, 2017. You can find her name all over my YouTube and Facebook. Accused of purchasing personal items with office credit card. Now, there's some other jurisdictions I had to deal with. Scottsbluff, Nebraska, Troop E, sexual assault. Former Nebraska State Trooper sentenced to 20 to 40 years for sexual assault. March 14th, 2023, a former Nebraska trooper was sentenced Monday to a lengthy prison term after being convicted sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl. Now, God damn you! Stop sending me to these fucking predators alone! By law, Michelle Ticini is not allowed to own or possess a firearm. She physically assaulted her girlfriend. That is domestic assault. It is against the law for her to own or possess a firearm. Assault and domestic partnership is treated as if it is as heinous as sexual assault, because it is. They both perform the same function: to establish power, control, and dominion over your victim. That's what gaslighting does as well, like that 911 operator earlier today wanted to do. You guys get to see how I tell you how crooked these departments are. The news breaks stories all over the United States about shit I told you about. Goddamn right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Troop E, Scottsbluff. How many phone calls are on my YouTube channel to them? Over and over again. Many others as well, because they all sent me around in circles claiming it was nobody's job. Y'all know what state Malcolm X was from? Type up the name Malcolm X. He was born in Nebraska, same as me. Damn. Now that one was March 14th. Here's one from November 3rd. A former Nebraska State Patrol trooper facing child pornography charges was arrested. I had to go to Nebraska State Patrol Troop E to turn in Scott DaCosta. Says former trooper arrested again. May 2021. 16 felonies. June 2022, 2 felonies. Sexual assault of a minor. Brandon Dolezal, 25, is named by a teen victim in an Omaha police report as the man who picked her up from school and sexually assaulted her. He did this in Scotts Bluff. Officers said Dolezal told them he was a senior at Millard West High School. According to court documents, Dolezal faces 6 counts of first-degree sexual assault of a child and 1 count of sexual assault, use of a communication device in Douglas County Court. When did I first go to Nebraska State Patrol Troop E about this situation? That would be March or May of 2017. Investigator Woods bullied me, harassed me, and intimidated me rather than try doing his job. He's also the one who investigated at least 2 of these other individuals who are locked up. The screeners, their job is to find out if you're alone, because that makes it easy for them to blow you off and hang up on you. If you're trying to turn in police, they'll blow you off and hang up on you. Being homeless will get you blown off and hung up on so fucking quick, though. You got no idea. Almost as quick as telling them you're trying to turn in cops. Now let's look up some more of them. It ain't just Nebraska. Officer Waylon Lolatai.
Here are some pictures that match.
Not lullaby. Police Officer Waylon Lolatai quit second Colorado Department, September 11th, 2020. Lolatai spent 28 months with Denver and resigned during an excessive force investigation. He was seen on the jail surveillance shoving here's another one. City of Boulder paying $95,000 to settle lawsuit against officer. January 30th, 2022. Boulder paying $95,000 to settle lawsuit against officer. Officer Waylon Lolatai was accused of unlawfully arresting a man in 2019. Sammy Leon Lawrence IV, actually. Here's one. What happened to Zaid Atkinson? This is another victim. It says the first in which Naropa student Zaid Atkinson was confronted by armed officers while picking up trash outside his home, drew national media attention and sparked local protests. The city settled with Atkinson in March 2020 for $125,000. Now here's the problem. Zaid Atkinson is actually a criminal in his own right, but we'll get to that. He's a horrible excuse for a human being. He's also a victim of this man here, Officer Waylon Lolatai. There's one right there of him shoving a woman. Kelly Clark. That's right. Denver Post. Boulder to settle lawsuit by black man arrested while filming police. See, it's the evidence that he filmed. Anybody who is going to refuse to be filmed is hiding something. They're not good people and you need to go. They might be nice, but they're not good people. It says Boulder Police Officer Waylon Lolatai leaves department. Former Officer Waylon Lolatai would not have been terminated had he not decided to leave That's the sad part. Boulder police officer on leave after social media posts he was celebrating violence against people. When he moved to Boulder, I was the first person he assaulted on camera. At the Boulder Hospital, when they were supposed to be taking me to a safe place to make a police report. They knowingly, willingly, and intentionally lied in their police reports. But nobody would help me to turn in the crimes. All they wanted to do was gaslight me. Every officer, everywhere I went. How dare I try to turn in police officers? Just so you know, all of these inmates and all of these other victims of Waylon Lolatai, all of them that they're showing with the exception of the one from Denver, happened after he and other officers took part in threatening, harassing, intimidating, and assaulting me while I was trying to do what I was asked to do by the officers supposedly investigating Natalie Bollinger's murder. I did as I was instructed. I also spoke with Adams County Police. They promised me that they would not send Boulder police officers because they hurt homeless people. This is what they do. And still, all you did was help them to get away. Let's look up some other victims of my predators. Demetrius Shankling, Boulder, Colorado. Former Boulder County Sheriff's deputies get prison sentences. November 4th, 2021. James O'Brien and Adam Lunn were sentenced Thursday for the September 2018 death of Demetrius Shankling. Boulder deputies sentenced for jail transport death. Shankling, 23, died in 2018 from positional asphyxiation with the combined toxic effects of ethanol and amphetamine, according to the coroner. Now, here's the thing. Was I on amphetamine or ethanol? No. The crimes they committed against me were a little bit different in that situation. Former Boulder deputy is guilty of manslaughter. Let's do another one here. Tillamook, Oregon Police Chief.
Chief Raymond Rao. According to KGW, Tillamook Police Chief Raymond Rao, a man with nearly 30 years' experience in law enforcement, has led the department since July 2021. He's now facing 4 misdemeanor counts in a missing and tampered evidence case.
We got some of the witnesses to that case on my channel speaking about it. Nobody's listening. Oh, except for me. Tillamook police chief took drugs and money from evidence, state alleges. He absolutely did. So does Loffman. Loffman likes to give it to girls out here. He'll give them drugs in exchange for sexual favors. Now this all started off with me saying that I support the 100 inmates whose rights have been completely and entirely violated. Also, you notice how every single one of these public officials, all of them, every one of them is a public official. Every single one of them. And how all of them are not only getting slaps on the wrist, they're getting lighter sentences than their victims. Former NISA police chief charged with evidence theft in Tillamook. Yeah, folks, this is a very real thing.
Cracks and settlement issues flooding your house.
Oh, come on, I don't want to hear a goddamn advertisement, you fucking cowardly, stupid shits.
Well, a police chief on the Oregon coast is in some hot water.
I'm in Tillamook.
Tillamook Chief Raymond Rao is facing 4 misdemeanor charges. Court documents allege he stole and tampered with evidence at the police station. This is Tillamook Police Chief Raymond Rao, in charge of the department since July of 2021, an officer with nearly 30 years of experience, now under fire. That's because he is facing 4 misdemeanor charges in a missing and tampered evidence case. Court documents filed Wednesday say Rao took drugs and money from the evidence lockers. The charge in count 1 is official misconduct in the first degree.
You're making me go to criminals to turn in criminals.
Remove controlled substances from the Tillamook police evidence locker with intent to obtain a benefit. Count 2 alleges Rao of theft, alleging he took cash with a total value of $100 or more. The other 2 counts also allege theft of drugs and money. The court paperwork says the offenses occurred between October 1st of 2021 and May 8th of 2023. The Tillamook Herald-Leader broke the story and says Oregon State Police began an investigation in May after an audit of the police department's property room revealed that evidence had been tampered or removed in more than 80 cases dating back to 2005, with the vast majority of those occurring since 2021. We reached out to OSP and the State Department of Justice, but got nothing of substance back. The Tillamook County District Attorney wrote to us saying in part, I assigned DOJ to handle the investigation and prosecution of this case due to it being a conflict for my office. I have only received the initial audit report for purposes of evaluating the effect of the audit on cases my office is or has prosecuted. Police Chief...
Yeah, they've refused to do their job since I got here. The DA's office actually took part in threatening, harassing, and intimidating me, and, of course, making false statements to an at-risk and disabled adult. I'm an adult, yes, but I'm also in an at-risk situation, and I am disabled. Some of those disabilities are specifically because of Officer Waylon Lolatai. On the bright side, I've been practicing rolling cigarettes. I can do that, and I can hold a pencil and a pen now for longer periods of time than I could immediately afterwards. My hand didn't want to close. I've rehabilitated myself for the last 7 years, and I do still have a lot of issues.
Rao has reportedly been on administrative leave since May.
Missing women of Hardin, Montana. That one's from 2 years ago and not from me. This is from 4 years ago. This is from me. It's got 15,000 views. It's called Missing Women of Hardin, MT.
I'm in Hardin, Montana. I've been talking to some folks around here since I got here. I've been kind of being a taxi, taking people to their homes, places like that. Real poverty. There's a road that goes along I-90 that heads west of here, and they take a path south into farm country there, and they find a lot of missing people down there, mostly women, mostly younger women. Just like everywhere else in America, they got a drug problem here, but they, like I said, everywhere in America. They kill these people with exposure, the same thing that the Boulder Police Department does. They drive them out there in the wintertime, 20, 30 miles from anywhere. They drop them off in the weather. There's an issue with the police not wanting to take reports here. They say things like, well, it's not illegal for somebody to leave. You know, maybe they just went off grid. So they got the Bureau of Indian Affairs here. I don't know if they do things differently or not. It's only a few miles from Crow Agency, Custer's Last Stand, 7th Cavalry, all of that. Apparently there's over 100 missing people in the area. They find bodies every so often. The most popular one recently, December 13th, a woman named Henny Scott disappeared. She was 13 years of age. There's another woman in the area who was found deceased. Her last name was Noses Gun. There's a lot of people missing from this area that are not reported. You can go into...
The last time I ever saw Natalie Bollinger was on my birthday. Natalie and her sister insisted we go to Elliot's Coffee Grounds in Norfolk. Frida Noses Gun disappeared October 18th of 2016 while I was out with Natalie and Alicia Bollinger for my birthday. Frida Noses Gun was disappearing between Spokane, Washington and Hardin, Montana.
sheriff's department, you can go into the library, you can go all sorts of places. You can see that there's a major problem here. And it's not just here, it is everywhere. But there are so many missing people from this area, and there are so few people here. I mean, it's not a big city.
4 years ago.
Billings, this isn't older.
And there's more to this video. It's a 5-minute video. But now, when did they finally acknowledge that it's the epicenter? Here's another one.
We're following a breaking news alert tonight. A missing woman's body found in Hardin County. Eric Egan is at the WKRN.com alert desk with new information. Eric.
Thank you, Haley. Megan Gamble had been missing for 9 days, quite a while. Our affiliate WBBJ in Jackson, Tennessee, now saying
that's Tennessee.
Investigators found her body wrapped in a blanket.
All right, that's a different Hardin. Hardin, Montana, epicenter for missing May 12, 2021. A new documentary filmed in Hardin seeks to raise awareness about Montana's missing and murdered indigenous peoples cases, of which large, says, who is the missing girl in Stops Pretty Places? That would be Sarah Stops Pretty Places. What happened to Selena Not Afraid? She was murdered by her own people with exposure. 10 months after I made that video, The Missing Women of Hardin, Montana. A year after this, the news finally started speaking up about how that was an epicenter for missing and murdered indigenous people. 2 years after that, the United States government acknowledged that Hardin, Montana is an epicenter for missing and murdered people. Y'all need to stop and listen to what I'm saying. Instead of treating me like I'm a goddamn liar, allowing them to do it to others. This is how it keeps ending up on the news. You don't listen to me. Selena Not Afraid. Let's look this one up. We'll do this one on YouTube. Selena Not Afraid. Oh. Selena Not Afraid. Body of missing Hardin teen Selena Not Afraid found 3 years ago. She disappeared 10 months after I made that missing video. Now you notice, I told you, True Crime. True Crime picked it up. This one's from 3 months ago. I've been speaking up about Hardin, Montana for years. I also told you the police just claimed they died of natural causes. Let's listen to Chief Big Hair. This is Bighorn County. Yeah, Little Bighorn River. Come on. Oh yeah, I forgot. There we go. That should work. Come on now. Come on. Says she died of hypothermia, which we already knew. Oh, come on. Come on. Trying to get it working. Of course she died of fucking hypothermia. She was murdered with exposure.
Autopsy results for Selena Not Afraid are expected tomorrow
like making
from the
it
Bighorn
illegal
County
for people to
Attorney's
use
Office.
blankets.
Not Afraid's body was found Monday after she went missing on New Year's Day. Now, on Tuesday, County Attorney Jay Harris said his office will investigate. Not Afraid's family announced it will hold a service for her at Hardin High School on Sunday morning at 11. And many around the state are remembering Selena as well. Last night, the Miles City High School softball team, which includes Selena's cousin, came together for a memorial vigil. Selena Not Afraid also being remembered in Bozeman and Missoula as well. The Montana State University American Indian Council and the University of Montana Payne Family Native American Center both have candlelight vigils that started at 5.
All right, that one's not the one with Chief Big Hair being a goddamn douche. My apologies for that. Now let's look up another one here. Oh, God damn it. All right, there we go. Clearview Behavioral Health, Johnstown, Colorado. Oh my God. There is no fucking way. That better be fucking wrong. It says they're open again. After Clearview Behavioral Health shut down, its successor has, they changed it to Johnstown Behavioral Health. October 28th, 2022, Johnstown, Colorado. The mental health facility that once housed Clearview Behavioral Health, roughly an hour's drive north of Denver. Oh, here's one. I tried to turn them in for committing Medicare and Medicaid fraud, for holding people longer than they should have, for illegally drugging people.
Change. To some extent.
You reached out to our investigative team. Why?
Because I feel hopeless.
A mental health hospital under investigation.
Felt like I was being tricked, coerced into taking medication.
Alarming allegations uncovered by Denver 7 Investigates.
Your reaction to what we've heard from patients?
It's appalling.
If this sounds familiar, it should.
Breaking news, the state is shutting down a Johnstown mental health facility.
2 years later, the same location is under investigation again, but under new ownership and a new name.
Would you recommend Johnstown Heights to anybody in need of mental health care?
This one isn't nearly as important as when it was still Clearview, because we're going to look at that. Clearview Behavioral Health, Johnstown. Mistrial declared in civil case against former Clearview Behavioral Health doctors.
The credibility of two doctors against a patient's accusations of wrongdoing is the focus of a high-profile case unfolding this week in Boulder. And this comes after nearly 2 years of investigating a Johnstown behavioral health hospital.
Boulder County, hold up. Boulder County uses Clearview Behavioral Health so that they can take victims of police brutality and ship them out of jurisdiction Boulder County did this to me.
Hospital now closed. Denver 7 Chief Investigative Reporter
They're
Tony
in Larimer
Kowaleski was in the
County.
courtroom. Tony, it is now about financial accountability.
Yeah, Anna, we begin with some breaking news. We have just confirmed in the last few minutes from a state court source that the judge has declared a mistrial. We're trying to learn more details around why. Still value in hearing from the doctors' attorneys as they defend some of the issues we've reported. Also, we know that this is a case that many were watching closely, including the wife of a man who lost his life inside Clearview. Behind these doors and inside this courtroom,
I think the evidence in this case is going to show you that this is not so much of a medical malpractice case. This is a case of systemic abuse of power.
I told you.
It's a court case between a former Clearview patient and two of the most powerful doctors responsible for patient care inside the mental health hospital.
We hope to show you through the evidence that there was no big money or deep financial gain in anything that was going on in this case.
It's a case exposing troubling emails.
It says, I'm doing all this work at Clearview with not a single clinical visit to my credit for 2 years. Just stress and risk of exposure of my name to media and risk to my license. He confesses that he's committing malpractice.
A jury now gets
They
to
ignored
decide.
us. The staff just wrote down a doctor's name whenever they wanted to do something to us, and none of those staff are qualified medical professionals. None of them. There is an on-call nurse who is there. She is the only medical professional there. And they got her picture on another one of these, the one about Tibor Hatay, who was killed.
On facts and information reported previously in a series of Denver 7 investigations. When you received these two emails, how did you react?
Dr. Jason
My
West
reaction was, wow, this is some pretty powerful evidence.
needs to be in prison
Reaction
too.
to this, your husband lost his life in that facility.
Why didn't he lose his license?
They drugged him to death. They tried to do that to me too, to antagonize the situation, laugh at me. They thought it was hilarious. By the way, it's recorded on this very YouTube channel. The part that they allowed me to have. That's called framing. They wouldn't allow me to make a police report. They wouldn't allow me to turn in Boulder Officer Waylon Lolatai. They wouldn't allow me. And all those cops had to do was say mentally ill, mentally ill, mentally ill. Police worked across multiple jurisdictions to have me harmed. And then they get to ignore it by saying, oh, well, that's in another jurisdiction. We can't do anything about that. Bullshit! This is straight up abuse of power and should not be investigated by Boulder County, nor any judge there within.
I think that it was your reporting that started all this into play.
Miss Sun was no longer.
During opening
It wasn't
statement,
his reporting that brought this all into play. It was Sean David Schwartz speaking up loud and proud. Over and over and over again. And not shutting up, no matter what. You would not listen to me. You allowed these predators to literally spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money to play head games to harm me. And they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to do these things to others. After they did these things to me, and they killed some of those people. Are you not fucking listening?
on Monday, attorneys for the company that is owned by one of the defendant doctors and writes paychecks for the second work to justify the emails and distance everyone from the shadow of Clearview.
Dr. Pinchwani will talk to you about those emails. Dr. Pinchwani, at the time, April 2019, when he sent the email, was overworked. At times, Clearview was reprimanded.
Oh, poor them. They committed felonies for Boulder Police Department repeatedly. Oh, poor them, they're overworked. Don't give a holy fucking goddamn about me. Now, why is Jason West being left out of that? Colorado shuts down Clearview Behavioral Health Monday. Will speak to revoke license. That was 2 years ago. Clearview Behavioral Health investigation. What's next? 4 years ago.
All right, I want to move on to bombshell developments in an investigation. Contact 7 is exposing a mental health care center accused of essentially holding patients hostage to line its pockets.
Following our investigation, the facility's license to operate was downgraded by the state. Tonight, the state is still on site, digging into the allegations we uncovered.
Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski broke the story and is back with what is next. Tony?
Shannon, Jessica, a lot of developments today. Let's start with this. State investigators are now digging through the records and talking with employees. We've been told this could be a lengthy process. Investigations ongoing from 3 state agencies and the federal Medicare program.
Do you believe this facility should be shut down?
I absolutely do, yeah.
She's a former patient.
I won't do it because I will not wind up ending up in another facility like that. I won't do it. I'd rather take my chances.
I think it's very wrong what they're doing for people that are ill and do need help.
And she's a former nurse.
I know that the staff is overworked on the MHTs, the nursing
By the way, I
staff,
can show that lady in the video. They
know
hit
that
her
the
voice,
patients
but
are
I
not getting the
recognize
proper
her.
care that they should be getting that.
One by one,
laugh at me
in
after I
recent
was
weeks,
drugged.
the Contact 7 investigative team has talked to more than 24 insiders, patients, and family members. And their accusations created a massive response today. On Facebook, we heard from a mom of a former patient. Quote, "That makes me so angry I could spit nails." She says her son spent 10 days at Clearview and ends, "Something has to be done to fix this. Our loved ones deserve proper expert care." So angry.
Hello, and thanks for reaching out to Contact 7 and Contact 7 Investigates.
One former patient called our tip line saying it was like being in prison, telling us she was held for 7 days and not allowed to contact family members. And an email from another former patient includes, "This place needs to be shut down. Now I want to join you to make sure that no one ever has to go through that kind of experience."
What would you tell the people of Colorado that might want to send a loved one to that facility?
You're not sending them there.
Now, Clearview managed.
Now, this guy right here, Mr. Kovaleski, when he started his investigation, it was started by a call from Darren O'Connor. Darren O'Connor got his information from me about who the other victims were. Situation with Waylon Lolatai. My apologies. Mr. Kovaleski did a story on Waylon Lolatai as well. He got that information from Darren O'Connor. Darren O'Connor got that information from me. And Darren O'Connor did some more digging with those names. People like Sammy Leon Lawrence IV, who wanted to pawn me off on Darren O'Connor. And I explained to him, Darren O'Connor already harmed me. He was just using me for prestige.
Management has acknowledged it will make the changes to its operations as outlined by the state.
Tonight, a major change in leadership at a Northern Colorado mental health facility, weeks after our investigation that led to multiple state and federal investigations at Clearview Behavioral Health.
Those investigations are over claims of mismanagement, insurance fraud. Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski is back tonight with new information. And Tony, sounds like pressure is mounting.
Many current and former employees said he was the man responsible for the critical decisions for
Maybe you should pull your heads out of your asses. I got paper evidence in the back here that shows this. I got my own evidence from me speaking out about Clearview well before this happened. See, 5 months ago. Oh, the racist old guy and Clearview Behavioral Health. That's right, 5 months ago, the racist old guy. How law enforcement abuses the system to cover up their crimes. Clearview Behavioral Health, that one's from 2 years ago. See, one from 4 days ago. Oh, this lady is the one who smiles. Ah, come on. Fucking Christ. The lady who's purple. She smiles in the video. Now let's look here. Filters. We'll go over 20 minutes because I tend to talk a lot. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. Oh, this is Rollins PD getting hostile with me 3 years ago.
All right, you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. John, this is,
I could barely hear him.
Here, one moment.
I was in McDonald's in Rollins.
Pretty loud. We're going outside.
I'd already made 6 calls, 3 of them anonymously and 3 of them on YouTube.
That's funny, because I was just calling you guys about child abuse not 20 minutes ago. Oh, I already know what you're up to. You're going to come arrest me and prevent me from making a report.
That's exactly what they did, too.
No, however, if I can deliver the citation to you, then I'm not going to arrest you. However, play games, then as soon as county gets out there with you, I'll have them arrest you.
Nobody's
see that right there? He automatically starts getting an attitude and threatening me with arrest. He's already abusing his power to threaten and intimidate me over lies. Because see, there's a situation that happens that absolutely did happen. Not the way that Rihanna said it did. Not for the reason she said it did. But they didn't care about the truth. In this video, I tell them about child abuse, about evidence. All they do is bully me and fucking start shit and try to fucking this bullshit here.
Sir, nobody's playing games. There's no reason to be hostile. Sir, you're being hostile with me.
You're playing little fucking games. See, he's verbally assaulting me. Isn't that what you call it if I do it? This man has started off with a severe level of disrespect and threats and harassment and intimidation, and he keeps it up the entire time. Repeatedly talking over me, ignoring anything and everything that I'm telling him, and literally trying to twist everything I say into something else. Then they tried to manufacture a criminal history for me, claimed that I was arrested in 1983 for shoplifting. I was 2 years old in 1983, dipshits. That's why they had to let me go, despite the fact that I spoke out of turn in court. I said, hey, I was 2 years old in 1983, bud.
Not acceptable.
I'm going to give you a citation. I want to know where you're at so I can deliver that and trespass for it to you. And if you don't tell me, then you're going to
Now, if that's what he'd have done, that would have been fine, but he wouldn't stop bullying me. He wasn't interested in being honest. He was interested in harming me. He was interested in pulling vigilante activities. He was interested in not doing his job. He was interested in being a goddamn bully, and that is all. He was interested in abusing his power. That is all. He was interested in taking advantage of an at-risk adult. That is all. He did not care about the child abuse. He cared about harming me.
Problem telling you where I'm at, but you need to stop being hostile.
Where are you at?
I am at McDonald's, across the street from Walmart. Now stop being hostile and come take my report. I am driving a blue Jeep. Do what? Yes, sir. Now are you coming to take my report? Very good.
He said, yep. But that's not what he does.
He wanted to ask me about what happened this morning. Well, I already admitted that on YouTube, didn't I? I will take his citation. And in addition to the citation, I let him know where I was at. But he didn't need to get hostile. Now, when he gets here, I'm going to make sure this thing's still running. That might be him right there.
Now, let me pause it right here. This is why I record live. This video here, I wasn't able to record live because I didn't have internet access that was functional at the time. It was all blotchy and splotchy. So I recorded it offline. And so they committed crimes against me. Once they realized it was being recorded, yeah, let's press play here.
No, that guy might be getting something to eat.
They just talk over me and bully me. Ask questions in the middle of me answering a question. And then literally go out of their way to lie in their police reports about this incident. What they wrote down is not what happened in this video.
Alright. So let's get something straight. Okay? I'm going to do a lot of talking. I'm going to need you to do some listening. Yell at me.
He's already starting to bully me. This is not okay. This is intimidation. He does not need to do this. He does not need to bully me or berate me or treat me like I am a goddamn animal.
Things are not going to go well. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Okay, perfect. Put your hands to the hood. I'm going to pay you. I'll make sure you know me well.
Now he tells me he's not coming to arrest me, and what does he do? He automatically starts fucking breaking the law and showing that he was breaking the law to begin with and that it was fucking entrapment. He didn't give a fuck about what happened. He cared about harming an innocent man and playing vigilante. He does not have the right to do this. By the way, the computer that I recorded this on, they lied on their documents in order to steal that computer and not release it to me. They also lied to me about arresting me, and they guaranteed that even though I told them about the child abuse that was recorded on my computers that were in that Jeep, they did not care. They did not give a fuck. They just wanted to be mean to someone. They wanted to be cruel to somebody. They wanted to play God. I'm trying to turn it up so you can hear what they're saying.
Oh, I thought you were just here for this. I'm paying you not make sure you don't be left. I'm not the mood. So let me patch you down. I'm going to explain to you why I'm explaining to you about the child. Okay? I'm going to explain.
I wish I could find my Bluetooth speaker. This one is real fucking important. It should be loud enough for you guys to hear it, and I apologize that it's not. Coast to fucking coast, they do this shit. You want to pretend I'm a bad person for the desperate shit that I have to do? Because these police officers have done everything in their power to protect child molesters, rapists, child beaters, people like Robert Franklin Warnick, registered sex offender, people like Ryan Ingersoll, child beater. How about Amy Spencer? That's right, all these people were convicted of abuse. Well, Ryan Ingersoll, they dropped the charges against her because if they hadn't, then I could have used that in court. They would have had to drop the charges. Instead, they fucked with me over and over and over again, including evidence tampering. The fact is, you can look all this shit up. I've been speaking out for years. I break the law only when it is necessary for the protection of others. Fuck, this is difficult to do on my phones here. I fully support the inmates there. And although I don't agree with killing people, if they did kill any of those staff members, I'd consider that justice served against one officer. It's just unfortunate that it wasn't done in a court of law. Well, I take that back. A court of law would have given them leniency and made excuses for these fucking predators.